Welcome to the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast.
My name is Jen Clark.
And I'm Elke Clark. We are a mother-daughter team who started our Zazzle e-commerce businesses over 10 years ago and have sold over $15 million worth and counting of products on Zazzle with our designs on them.
We had so many people asking us how we did this, so we created the Profit by Design Academy, a 12-month coaching program where you will implement the 5 strategies we have used for success on Zazzle.
When we aren't coaching our amazing clients to reach millions in sales on Zazzle, we love cooking food from places all over the world that we've traveled to, jet-setting to our next dream destination, spending quality time with our close friends and family, or having fun creating our next bestsellers in our own Zazzle businesses.
In this podcast, we share actionable steps you can take to make money in your online business using Zazzle. Each episode will take you one step closer to creating that perfect business, which will give you the freedom to live your dream life.
We believe that you can have anything you dream of, as long as you work smarter, not harder. We're here to give you the tools you need to make your dream life happen. So let's get started. Well, hey there, it's Elke, and welcome to another episode of the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast. In this episode, it's going to be an exciting topic that I'm going to cover with you because it's something that people don't usually think about Zazzle when they use Zazzle as a platform for their business. Typically, you're selling the products to make money. That's a royalty, or you're promoting other people's products to make an affiliate income, or both, right? If you sell your own, then you get an affiliate income as well. But what we forget is that Zazzle is such a versatile fulfillment center and also a marketing tool that we can use Zazzle in so many different ways, not just to hopefully sell something on the marketplace. So today's topic is how to use Zazzle to expand your current business. And if you have a brick and mortar business, an online business, or your own brand, maybe you want some additional income stream or a way to attract and give your customers that you do attract that sense of feeling like they're special. And if that's what you want, then this episode is for you. Granted, you need either to be already known for your own brand or trying to get known for your brand, one or the other. Or you've got some sort of either brick and mortar store or an online business that's already existing that you want to expand, create more revenue, also provide your customers that are loyal to you with some sort of bonuses, or just even put a little bit more income stream in because you're no longer using some other company that you have to pay more money for basic business supplies. So I'm going to cover all of that today in this episode, so stay tuned. So, as I mentioned, there's several scenarios that I pointed out that I'd like to touch on today, which will give you some really good ideas of how else you can look at the Zazzle platform as another business opportunity, so that it's not just, I have to be a designer and I have to sell wedding invitations or stationery or, business cards online to someone I don't know. This is instead an episode where you as a business owner can actually use the Zazzle platform as a way to facilitate and run your business more effectively and more profitably with things that may or may not even have realized are possible, because people don't talk about this that much. They just say, well, I got to make money online. Here are the print-on-demand companies. Throw stuff up there and hopefully it'll sell. That's the way we've been thinking about this, right? But Zazzle in particular, because it's giving you the opportunity to be very customizable in terms of how you make your designs, you can also not only create them for your customer, but you can create them for you as a customer that will help facilitate things in an interesting way. So before we get into the scenarios, I want to just also say that you can also sell on the Zazzle marketplace in 2 different ways. So we can sell publicly, right, by having it floating around in the marketplace, but you can also sell privately, which is called indirect. Like that, just when you're a Zazzle designer and you post your products for sale, you can post them as indirect, which means that, and I'm not even going to get into this, but there's some people that do this API linking so that they have these websites that people can come to and they can just buy and the website's set up in such a way that it's this fluid connection of data and information from the Zazzle marketplace, from their own Zazzle store or marketplace, whichever. And then on that external website, they're the ones that are driving traffic to that external website that own the website. And then in that website, it looks as if it's its own store, but really it's just like a fake store almost, and then people get directed to Zazzle to make the final purchase using the products that the people who own the external website actually also own the store on the Zazzle platform, or they're an affiliate and they're selling other people's products. And we should probably go into that in a little bit more detail in another podcast because this is going to be too much for this one. But that's an opportunity, right, for you to do that. But besides that, there's also opportunities for you just to make money even on your own purchases, and also for you to make money by leveraging Zazzle as a fulfillment center that's going to help you create a product line and create swag for your customers and give you opportunities to expand how you can market and profit from a certain endeavor that you're in, like a book or a podcast or something like that. Okay, so let's get started. So the first scenario that I want to talk about and give you a couple of examples on are brick and mortar businesses. And yeah, they're like not that easy to make money on right now. So especially if you're listening to this, you have a brick and mortar business, then this could be a really great way for you to transition online so that even while you're maybe shut down during COVID, you can still sell. Now, obviously, you can also make up your own website and you can sell your product specifically that you sell in your store on your own website. However, what if you don't have the ability to manufacture some products and you think that you can't sell those or you can't tap into that extra income, but you can, because you can then use the Zazzle marketplace as a way to add more products to your inventory, because Zazzle's actually the one that has sourced all those products. You are just responsible for putting on your logo or your sayings or whatever it is that you have that's unique to your brick and mortar business that you could then add as additional opportunities for you to sell product to the customer that you're using or like you're trying to target. But let's go into some more details about specifics as to how you can maybe use this. So the first example is a photographer. So especially there today in this day and age, even though COVID's starting to taper down and we're able to be more freely, doing things like going to be a photographer at a wedding or, portraits in your studio, that kind of thing. And even if you're more of a landscape artist type of photographer, you're going to want to know this because you're just distributing your art in galleries and so on, again, which may or may not be open to the public, and you may not be able to sell stuff. So what you can do instead is, in addition to even the portraits, like anything that's a portrait, you can start to merchandise whatever it is that you normally would sell to the customer brick and mortar, having to see them and take the photos, right? If you are if you're love photography and you're not just doing portraits, you may do something called you can do calendars or anything that has to do with any of your wildlife photography and so on. Even though your main focus in your business is portraits and weddings, for example, you can then expand online because it's not brand related, right? It's just your photography products. Besides, you can't just sell your people that you photographed. You can't sell the pictures for that, but you can use any other photography that you might be doing and leverage that by selling them without even being your brand name, just to create that extra income for you on the Zazzle marketplace. The next piece, though, is tied in with the actual business that you're doing, like let's say you do portraits and it's starting to open up again, so you can do portraits, then what you can do is say to your customer to up level or upsell, which is so good, right? Because you've got the customer there. You don't want to just sell them one thing. You want to upsell them. And so you could go onto Zazzle, make a couple of really cool Christmas card designs, for example, that require the addition of a photograph, or any other like holiday or anniversary or whatever you're taking photos for, weddings. And you can make designs on your store on the Zazzle platform that coordinate so that the customer who's now buying your photos, you can direct them to your store, and then they can look and see how they can make thank you cards for weddings with their photo on them. And also, holiday cards for Christmas and Hanukkah, or like any holiday that's coming up, or New Year's or whatever. That can all be tied in with your brick and mortar business. And you don't have to do anything except for create those digital designs initially, post them in your store. And when you get your customer in front of you, then or even after with a follow-up, an email or a card that they get in with their pictures, you say, go to this site, which would be your Zazzle store URL, and say, pick out a wonderful portrait. And you can even do this upselling in the store or in person, so that there's more chance that you might make a sale close. But ultimately, instead of them just taking their portraits and finding someone else on Zazzle to do, or any other, stationery store where they would print a holiday card, for example, you could right away be that middle line person that's going to facilitate that for them. They'll be so happy with you that you gave them an alternative or a quick, easy way to get these holiday cards done. And then more than likely they will choose your particular designs, and then you'll get a commission a royalty, because they'll have purchased your products. And if you work it out right, you'll actually get also an affiliate income payout, which means that you could make up to about 45% of the cost of the invitation, or a holiday card, for example. And so this is like big bucks. And if you can do that and coordinate that with your actual brick and mortar photography business, then you have just increased your income tremendously without too much effort, except for to get it in place. Okay, so another example of a brick and mortar business that can benefit from this is a bakery. So let's say you like anything where it's a customer-based service with product, right? That's more consumable rather than like photography, which is it's consumable in a way, but it's not the exact same. So bakery, or even like nails, or like anything where there's a service, but require some sort of additional product, like paper products or whatever. So you can then again do the same thing that you did as I mentioned with the photographer. You can have those additional products that they're basically going somewhere else to get, and bring them into your business realm and get them started on deciding that they should go with you to get that extra piece that they were going to pay the money for anyway to someone else. But now you facilitated that opportunity as well. And another option is for you as a bakery, for example, that's constantly using labels or like any sort of signs, business cards, flyers, whatever in your business, but you're paying a graphic designer for that and a printer for that. If you can ultimately get the graphic designer to agree to use the logo that they designed for you, usually you put that right into the contract so that the logo is yours. You can't just always go back to the designer to, get them to print you copies. That would be like a standard business thing that you should do. Then at that point, you can post that up on Zazzle and have your store as indirect. So it's just you can see that, not anyone else. And then that would be a way for you to print your own things that you need to run your business. And if you set it up properly, you can actually get a referral and a small royalty because you don't want to set it too high, right? Otherwise, you're just paying yourself back. But either way, you're still going to make money off of that, even though you're spending money to get those supplies, but you're not going to be spending that money and giving it to the printer or wherever you go. Instead, you're going to be your own printer and your own, graphic designer or whatever, and print your own stuff to brand your business and do all the things in terms of like banner, storefront banner, specials, all the things with COVID, wash your hands, step here on this, like say 6 feet apart. All of that is available on the Zazzle marketplace, but you can go even one step further and create your own with your own brand on it. And then you have the full control and you purchase your own products. And so that's kind of fun. All right. I think I've covered that one enough. The next thing is, and restaurant, the restaurant is the third example, but I just want to say that the restaurant could do the same thing as the bakery that I just explained, and the same goes with the photographer. But what I also want to point out is that restaurants have customers that are really loyal, right? And so you could create a whole bunch of swag with if you're not part of like a big chain, because they'll do it for you anyway. But if you're like a small restaurant and you want to create that big time restaurant feel, and you give out swag, or you have swag available at the restaurant to purchase, you can then use, based on what the Zazzle user agreement allows you to do, you can either give it away, or you may even be able to sell it depending on how the user agreement is set up nowadays. I can't actually tell you the specifics about that if you can resell, but it's definitely something that you can do to even promote your customer to go to your store and purchase it. And it's a lot easier anyway if you don't have to pay shipping to get it to send to somewhere. And then you also have bigger reach. So I remember seeing this one store in Hawaii restaurant in Hawaii that actually has their own Zazzle store. And they just had all the fun paraphernalia and swag that they are known for in terms of their kooky, fun atmosphere. And because of that, people knew to go to the Zazzle store and purchase the merchandise there. And they obviously had information in the restaurant that said, this is where you go. And I believe actually that it was the restaurant's main website. And then they had a link to say, here's where you can get the swag, and then that to redirected them to their Zazzle store. So there's so many fun things you can do to not only increase your income and save money and just make your customers feel much more appreciated because you've offered them more services, you've given them more chance to become loyal fans, and you are just rocking it in terms of your marketing online and brick and mortar. Okay, so that's the first scenario. The second scenario is an online business. And now this one can be a lot of different things as well, but I've chosen 2 things that just resonate for me right here because I want to give you some examples as well. And so there's an online business that I am aware of because I use their service. In fact, where actually I use the podcast service to upload and make my podcast look really great, which is called the Profitable Podcast Productions. And they just recently sent me some swag, and they weren't very happy with the company that did the swag. And like they gave me a journal and a pen and I think something else. I can't remember now. But in any case, they actually started to say, well, hey, Elke, you're on the Zazzle platform. How does that work? And so actually they purchased the Profit by Design Academy so that they can actually not only just learn how to create their own swag and be more in control of their designs and how they do customer fulfillment to send out this like additional bonus stuff for loyal customers, but also maybe to expand their own marketing scheme. It was marketing project and direction so that they have more opportunities, because there's actually a lot of things on the Zazzle marketplace that are meant for that sort of thing, right? To be fun ways to give a gift to your customer with your company logo on it. And so the podcast really stood out. I'll put the link in the show notes for the Profitable Podcast. Pretty funny that we're literally promoting the company that does the podcast. So I thought I'd give them a shout out because they're amazing. And the other thing that I am always learning, and I'm part of a course and a community and a whole bunch of stuff that anything to do with Amy Porterfield I'm in, because Amy Porterfield is an incredible online marketing genius. And so she has a course that is called Digital Course Academy. And so I'm part of that. And one of the bonuses that she gave me, and you can only be able to see this if you're watching on YouTube, but I'm going to hold up a mug that I just got from Amy Porterfield, and it says Course Creators Fuel. And it's funny, she doesn't even print on the other side. But this side here shows what she's got on there. And if you were on the Zazzle marketplace and you had this in your own store on Zazzle, then first of all, I think the cost would be a little less. I'm not sure, but there's a volume discount anyway for any time you do a lot of volume. And then you can also have more things that you can create, right? It doesn't have to just be a mug or a t-shirt. You can become quite ingenious with your swag that you give your customers that have purchased something, and then you get this as a bonus. And it's so funny because, people will be on the fence about buying a course, and then they go like, but you get a free mug. And it's like, yeah, I'm in. It's buying psychology. So if you're like an online marketer and you want to have something for your business where it's just sort of that over the top thing that gives people that extra piece that allows them to feel like they got something special, even though the most important part is the course or whatever you're trying to sell, like the book or whatever, but somehow it's the mug or like just being part of the community somehow is much more valuable in terms of connection. And so this is how you can do that by allowing to having all these types of products in your Zazzle store and allowing people to get that as a bonus. Now they can either go there and shop themselves if you give them the direct link, or and this wouldn't then be in the marketplace on the Zazzle marketplace. It would be your own store that you can personally direct the links to give the customer the link so that it's more exclusive, right? And that makes it feel good. And then also you can, just like we were talking about with the restaurant swag for brick and mortar, you can do this kind of swag, which is what Amy Porterfield did. And also the Profitable Podcast productions, they gave out little pieces of something that make you feel better. And what they've done is somehow used it as a way to fulfill it. Either ordered it in bulk and then they packaged it and sent it out to people, or they just worked out something with Zazzle so they could do individual orders. Something like that is all possible when it comes to that kind of thing for merchandising and marketing with merchandise.
Psst. Have you heard about the Online Business Starter Pack yet?
Are you looking for the perfect online business that gives you monthly cash flow so that you can live your dream life but don't know where to start? Or have you already signed up on our favorite platform called Zazzle but are now stuck because you don't know what to do next to start selling?
Then the Online Business Starter Pack is the perfect solution for you. You will receive step-by-step video instruction on how to start building your online business using the Zazzle platform.
You will set up your store and make your first product in less than 30 minutes, get the inside scoop on the 10 best-selling products on Zazzle, and feel confident promoting on Pinterest to make money.
If you're looking to easily and quickly start your online business, then head over to the show notes to grab the link to access the Online Business Starter Pack.
Now let's get back to the show. Now, the other way that an online business can profit from the Zazzle platform is, let's say you're a blogger, right? Or anything else where you've got like an Instagram channel or an Instagram account or a YouTube channel, or you've got a TikTok account, and all of a sudden you become famous or you want to become more famous. You can easily use the Zazzle platform as also a way to do merchandise. But I want to point out one thing in particular where this particular person that I've already showcased in another blog or another podcast, her name is The Bloggess, and she does a blog. That's how she started out. Then she wrote a book, and then she wrote several other books, but she always had a Zazzle store. And when she was writing her blog posts, if it was something fun and crazy, then she would take a picture or create some little image, not even anything really specifically like exciting or well-designed or anything, but it was the story in her blog post that really resonated with people. And then she would put a link to the product that she sold or that she had for that link to that particular blog post. So there's one in particular where there's this chicken of like a statue of a chicken, and it's just this big metal statue of a chicken. It has this hilarious blog post about it. And then, of course, at the bottom, she has a link to the actual statue that you can buy. It's like a tiny little statue that you can buy on Zazzle that will allow you to have that same chicken as something on your desk or wherever. And she's made so much money with that kind of approach where her blog is marketing a Zazzle product. And if you had looked at that in the Zazzle marketplace, you'd go like, I don't know what this is. I don't get it. And you'd probably never sell anything. But because she used her blog as a way to create interest and drive traffic to her Zazzle store, she's made a lot of money that way. And so that's definitely something that you can do if you already have a huge following and your blog is, you market your blog, then this is a way to do it. Okay, in the show notes, I've got links to Amy Porterfield, the Profitable Podcast Productions, and this blogess, not only her Zazzle store, but a little bit more about her and her net worth and so on. And it's just really fascinating to see her marketing strategy so that you can also use that as a guide for how you can use being an author or a blogger, using that as a way to generate more income for you using merchandise or products that stem from particular types of things that you've created popularity around. All right. The third thing is using your own brand as a way to then bring more business to you using the Zazzle marketplace. And in this case, you can even leave your products open if you want to on the Zazzle marketplace, because they could just sell because they're a pretty picture or something like that. But then other times, again, you'd want to have your store products set for indirect so that only you have the link and only the customers that you want to have them see it are going to see it. And so it makes more sense, right, for the customer. But as with the blogess, for example, it was just there on the marketplace. She didn't do indirect links. So in case somebody, even on the Zazzle marketplace, could just kind of see it and find it fun. So it really depends on your business situation. But most of what I'm going to show you with our own brand is probably best set for indirect with your products and your store. Okay, so the first example is an artist, and this is a really important one, like whether you're a fine artist or if you're, not even a fine artist, but like just selling your art and you're trying to get, more visual interest and ink recognition, or you're already selling in galleries, you want to use Zazzle as a way to, as a fulfillment center, really, as a way to divide and conquer the others that can't buy your originals, right? That's what you're doing, right? So then you've got to like break down where your customer is in terms of buying power for your stuff that they love in the galleries that they've seen. So you've got the high-end customer who may be willing to buy a painting but can't because they're too expensive. So, and whether it's a painting or like a fine art photograph, either way, it doesn't matter. Then you've got that person that can't buy the original, but could easily splurge and wants to have a copy of the original. And Zazzle has incredible printing technology and has, not only regular canvases, but every kind of possible way to print on something that could be a piece of art on the wall. So you can explore that and then have that as your fulfillment center. Instead of you putting the money out for giclées and having a whole bunch of copies in your garage, you can let that all be online, and then that will end up having, then only once the customer starts to be interested and puts their money down and says, I want to buy this print, then it becomes Zazzle's priority to print it and to ship it, right? And you get the commission. So there's no outlay for you in terms of cash outlay to create a whole bunch of prints or giclées that may or may never sell. And so it's a very economical way to create the fulfillment of that need of that one type of customer without having to do any money outlay. It's just you adding the stuff to your store, making sure that you market it properly and send the customer to the links. Then the next person down who's maybe can't even afford the prints can but maybe afford a trinket, right? Like a mug or a calendar or a journal or a pen. And so there's that second group of people that have the ability to buy something because they love your art or your photography, but they can't afford anything that goes on their wall, or they may not even have room in their wall on their walls, right? But they wouldn't mind having something that lets them see your artwork and makes them happy. So even things like home decor or cell phone cases or laptop skins, the sky is the limit. And this is your opportunity to, if you're branded well enough, you need to market it properly because you're driving traffic to the Zazzle marketplace. But then it's all there, right? So the key is to really understand your customer as to who your art and photography lovers are, and then know what they may want as a purchase item with a certain number of paintings on or photographs on the merch that you know for sure are the popular pieces of your work, let's say, right? And we've had quite a few artists come through on the Profit by Design Academy, and we have very specific training for artists and photographers on this. But sometimes it's very hard for artists and photographers to really understand the merchandising side of things because they're just used to, I have to bring it to the gallery and I have to sell it once. And when it's gone, I have to, spend hours and hours making another painting. Whereas what you want to do is you want to do that painting and then just work on getting the most out of your labors, because otherwise, unless you sell your painting for like $1 million, and it's like if it took you 100 hours to make and you sell it for $1 million, then you can work out your hourly rate. But who's going to sell everything at $1 million? More than likely, you'll sell it for $250 or $1,000 or a couple of $1,000s. But even if it's a couple of $1,000s, is it really paying you back for the time and effort that you used to create the image, present it to galleries, put it up online in your own website? So many things are taking up your time, and you're in the end not getting paid for it, right? Because there's only one end user. Whereas if you do this marketing strategy that I just told you about and use Zazzle as a fulfillment site, you're just going to get so much more out of that one image. And honestly, even after the original gets sold, you still own copyright to that image, because it's ultimately your painting, even though someone else bought the original. Unless you've literally signed away the copyright, you still have the right to use your paintings and your photography as many times as you want for the rest of your life, and even your estate can use it even after that. And so it's really important to make sure that you are leveraging what you could actually generate as money with your particular signature branded art of whatever type that is, whether it's, photography, surface pattern, graphics, anything and everything is up for grabs here in terms of who fits into this category of artist. And you may or may not realize that you're leaving a lot of money on the table unless you use something like the Zazzle marketing strategy to add more inventory so you can sell to different customers who are willing to pay at certain price levels. All right, so that's the artist. Now let's move on to authors. Again, the authors are incredibly, whether it's like a comic book or cartoons or illustrative, like children's books or full-on fiction or nonfiction, you can, if you've got you've got to figure out what you've worked out and what you've signed away with your contract if you've got a publisher. And so there you might be a little bit more limited. But on the other hand, your artwork is still your artwork unless you've signed it away. And so you could still see what you can do in terms of selling the pieces, just like I've just explained with the artist scenario. And also you can, if you're like doing an ebook or you're self-publishing, well, then you have the rights. And so you can not only create book swag and also like pieces in the book, if there's illustrations, can be sold separately in all kinds of ways, right? It doesn't even have to just be this is from the book. It can also be that it's a beautiful picture of a princess and you start adding it to a birthday invitation for a 5-year-old that wants everything pink and princess. So think about how you can expand as an author the things around your book, and even things that may not be associated with your book, but are assets from your book. And then the other thing is book swag, right? So if someone becomes very famous, like if you become famous or there's more demand for your book and you start to get a following, then what you can do is actually create book swag, right? So it's just like the mug with the course creators. It's a way for people to be connected to your book because they love it. Or if it's a children's book, maybe there's something as an offshoot. Maybe they end up wearing a T-shirt because they're a fan. Or, they get a picture up on their wall as in the kid's bedroom. So many options, whether it's usable, consumable, or decorative, you name it, you can create that book swag. So it's not just that you're selling books. Now you're selling the merchandise that comes with the books, right? Does Star Wars make their money on the films, which were actually already an astronomically successful film, a series, or do they make more money on all the toys and the games and everything else? And you guessed it, answer number 2. And so this is what you're doing, right? You're just using very, common marketing practices to generate a large amount of wealth in addition to your original, copyrighted unique piece, i.e. your book, that is now going to help you generate more income because it's out there. And the only one that's stopping you is yourself for not doing some of these marketing strategies. All right. I think I covered that very well. So then the third thing that I had on my list here was course creators. Now, I talked about Amy already, and that she's got a course which talks about making a course. But there are so many course creators out there that do a lot of different things, such as courses on how to make candy apples or how to, do honey or make jam or whatever. So if you have this brand of you selling a course on something that you get known for, then you can create some swag to go along with that. So for example, if you teach people how to make jam, well, first of all, they're not going to just leave it on a pot in their kitchen. They're going to put it into jars and they're going to label it, and they might put some nice pretty stuff on it. Or tie it with a little cloth and a string or ribbon. So guess what? Zazzle sells ribbon. Zazzle sells labels. Zazzle sells nice little bags that you could put it in so that it could be sold in the store. Or when the customer buys it, they can get it in a bag to take home with them once they purchase the jar of jam or honey, whatever. So the sky's the limit there in terms of not only making it more branded with your marketing around the purchase of the product, but also the actual creation of the product in the first place. If you've got like a course that's, again, talking about how to make something and make money off of it, or make it for fun and then give it as gifts. And then other times course creators can be people who are teaching you how to do something where you're either getting motivated or you're transformed or whatever. And so you can use Zazzle and the products by creating certain types of designs that allow you to boost that morale or keep that motivation going. So you could, like, t-shirts is the easiest one that comes to mind, but mugs and pens and laptop sleeves and phone cases are just a few examples of how you could easily add your slogan or logo for like the motivation or the affirmation saying or whatever it is, and quotes that you come up with in your course that will allow people to stay motivated and use that swag in some way or another. And it doesn't even have to be swag that's given to you, like is that you end up paying the money to buy the swag and give it to people like Amy did with the mug. But you could actually just send the people to the site. Like, for example, I haven't done it now for my Profit by Design Academy because just we're rebranding, but I did it for all my other courses in the past, where I would literally have the logo of our course on mugs and t-shirts, and I'd have certain sayings that were in my course store that I had branded with my course name. and that my course students could purchase so they could be involved and be part of the community in more detail. And once in a while we give some freebies away, but a lot of people just went and purchased stuff, which is really fun, right? And so this is a huge opportunity for you to like, whether you fit into any one of these categories that I talked about, they're endless in terms of the amount of opportunities that are out there. But as long as you have an external business already, you can use Zazzle as a fulfillment center and as a way to make more sales, because you can not only use all their products, but you can use their design tool to allow people to customize things. And also you can use the entire platform as a way to fulfill your own needs as a business for whatever you need to run the business and to market and promote and enhance your business with new ideas and interesting ways that you can get the customer involved and be more, recognizable and stand out from other businesses that are selling the same thing. And that's all that we want, right? We always just want the customer to recognize what we can offer compared to the other ones so they'll be loyal to our company. And so here you've got some fabulous ways to do that in addition to running your business already. So thank you so much for watching and listening, depending on what platform you're on, and I hope this was really helpful. Don't forget, no matter whether it's your own brand, you're an online business or a brick and mortar business, the Zazzle platform can come in so handy to not only generate extra wealth for you, but also to help create customer loyalty and upsell and brand you and continue to give you that extra edge so that you can become successful in your external business, not even your Zazzle business. And who knows, that may even lead to you to start exploring the Zazzle marketplace even more and the opportunities that Zazzle has, and you'll end up creating an online Zazzle business in addition to whatever you've already got. It's just so fun to see all these opportunities and for you to explore them and see where it takes you. So thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for listening to the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast with us, Jen and Elke Clark.
We hope this episode has given you actionable steps to building your online business that gives you the monthly cash flow you want while working less and living more.
If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a minute to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Each review helps us reach more entrepreneurs like you working to create a profitable e-commerce online business.
Follow us on Instagram at Ms. Jen Clark and at Elke Clark, and DM us with your biggest takeaway from today's episode. See you back here next week.